Too close. Hold on.
Alright, I'm gonna grab some juice real quick.
Nah. Oh yeah, grab me a John of water.
Oh.
No, I'm straight.
I thought the water's over there.
Nah, I don't have any more water bottles in the closet.
3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hold on. I'm gonna grab some.
Hold on, let me get a juice.
Cup of water?
Huh? Yeah.
Nah, cause nigga fucked up. If you didn't fuck up, I would've kept going.
Yeah. Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to Open Mic Podcast, episode 3. I am one of your co-hosts, Julian, as you know.
I'm David.
Marquise.
And today we have some very interesting topics to talk about today. Some a little bit deeper today, but it seems appropriate given the time frame. But before we get into all that today, I just want to say, we are recording this a little bit earlier than normal. We're trying to go on like a schedule of maybe every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
But David is going to California next week. So tell everybody if you want, why are you going to California? I forget.
Oh, I'm just going to visit my brother from the Air Force. He's stationed over there.
Right.
Also, to see if I can find Zendaya.
His one true love.
Yes, coming for you, Zendaya.
Of a lifetime.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back without her.
I promise you, she's not coming back to Philly. So I can tell you that much right now. But yeah, you ever been to the West Coast or no?
No, the closest to the West Coast I've been is like Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
All right, my fault, guys. We're back. Had a little mishap, technical difficulties, but like I was saying, you, the farthest you've been, you've only stayed on the East Coast then.
Yeah, only Ocean City, Maryland. That's
Yeah.
about it, and Baltimore.
So,
What about you?
for me, it was actually last year when I went to Utah. That's the farthest I've ever been.
Of the festival, right?
Yeah, Sundance Film Festival. Yeah, I was a volunteer. Yeah, I went to Utah. That's the farthest I've ever been, which actually is pretty close to like California or like Nevada and all that shit. I didn't realize. I thought it was more Midwest, but it's like when I looked on the map, it's actually pretty far. But it was cold as shit. It was cold as fuck because it was January. So, yeah, that's exciting though. Wow,
Yeah.
I look like a fucking dickhead. My knees and shit and live and shit. In the video and I'm dead.
Yo, that's funny as hell. That's actually funny.
But yeah, that's exciting for you. That'd be
Yeah.
cool. I've always wanted to go to Cali. I want to visit like as soon as I can. I want to go there for sure.
Yeah, me too.
His brother
So that's gonna be
living that
cool.
life.
Stop
We're
shaking
right.
your leg.
Oh, my fault.
While shaking the whole table. Oh yeah, and for those of you guys watching on YouTube, if you're not watching on YouTube, we're filming this one. So that's what the technical difficulty was. We're filming this one. We were trying to film last time, but it was just a little too late, like we mentioned. So this one we're actually filming because it's actually 12 o'clock. We actually managed to get something done early in the day. So if you guys want to watch on YouTube, if you guys want to see our faces, I don't know why you would, but yeah, we're on YouTube. It'll be in the description or the show notes.
Yeah,
So,
I know why.
go ahead, tell them why.
Well, I feel like the main purpose is that the stuff we talk about, I guess they want to see our reactions, like when we laugh and stuff like that. It's like it might be funny, like because I know in the last podcast we laughed a lot,
Mm-hmm.
so I guess the facial expressions that we make is gonna get caught now.
Yeah.
So if somebody tweaking, we'll do,
Yeah, if we get
we'll
caught,
like we like the cam, like
You're like,
if we get caught lacking, lacking.
I they do like a zoom in on somebody if they make it like. So,
Yeah, I'm excited. So we gotta probably try to work out a better system than me filming on my phone. But I did buy the iCloud storage, so we should be good now.
All right, bet.
But yeah. So like I said earlier, we got some interesting stuff to talk about today. It's mainly gonna be facilitated by me, but that's just because it was my idea. So not so. When you guys watch this or listen to this, don't think that like they didn't come prepared or something. It's just that mainly that I was the one who came up with the idea, and I wanted to be the one to moderate it or whatever.
Yeah.
Also, and y'all probably noticed now that I'm only the one with headphones on, and that's because we don't have the right equipment. As you can tell, we're filming on Keith's broken ass MacBook with a cracked screen.
God, damn.
But like y'all can't see, but like one part of the screen is fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get a new one,
And then we have a fucking USB
Adapter
so that we can all plug their mics in. We finally got 3 USB mics though, because I bought a Yeti, so now Keith can use my other mic. So we're getting some things done, but yeah, we don't have an aux splitter, so I'm the only one with the headphones. But they said they don't mind not wearing the headphones
I'm
either
cool
way.
with it.
Yeah,
I'm
it
cool without
feels
it.
better to me.
Yeah.
Because most of the time I just hear my voice and
Yeah.
Before you couldn't, like, when we connected to where we could hear each other, it would be better. But before we used to hear our echo. So
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all wouldn't. The way we had it set up the first time, y'all couldn't even hear.
Yeah.
Just y'all could only
one
hear
person can hear
yourselves. Yeah.
everybody,
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's how we're doing it. But for now, this works perfectly. It doesn't look very official, but we're working on it. This is my dining room table. We moved it to my living room, as you can see. So
it's not a bad setup though.
Yeah.
pretty
It's
good.
pretty solid.
yeah, I'm excited to move forward. But today, guys, so break it down for you. We wanted to come today. I was kind of listening to the last episode and talking to some people and stuff like that. And first of all, I didn't realize that it was Women's History Month. When we filmed that and and just things and just in general, I didn't realize. I didn't even know. I honestly, to be completely honest, I had no idea that was even a thing. I've never heard of Women's History Month.
Yeah, me neither.
Nope.
So,
Keeping it being, as soon as you said that, I swear it's just a Women's Day.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was a whole month.
me neither.
Yeah,
Me
I thought
neither.
it was a day also.
So, I was like, when we listening back to the other one and just so if you guys don't know, I also produce another podcast that my aunt and her husband does, and they were talking about Women's History Month and stuff like that, and it got me thinking last episode might have been a little bit distasteful,
yeah, I can see that.
just for the timing. It was, I could see that the stuff we were saying was definitely relevant and things like that, but as far as the timing, it may not have been the best time to be like, oh, boo-hoo, look at our problems,
Mm-hmm.
So I apologize. I don't apologize for any of the opinions we express, especially if we clear things up or try to make it as non-offensive as possible. But I'm just apologizing for the fact that we didn't really think about that when we did it, because we were just, all of us, unaware.
Yeah.
And then what also got me thinking was that, if I'm sure most of you know, International Women's Day was on March 8th, the past Monday that just passed a few days ago. So that got me thinking of this topic, which basically I wanted to touch on women's not rights, but society and how men play a part in the social justice and feminism, or how they should play a part in the patriarchy and things like that.
Mhm.
And to prepare, I was watching this documentary last night with me and my girlfriend. It's called The Feminists on Cell Block Y. All right, guys, we are back once again. Promise you no more interruptions for the rest of the episode, but we just had a call. So what I was saying was basically I was watching this documentary last night with my girlfriend, and it's called The Feminists on Cell Block Y. And basically it's about this prison in California. This is just the gist. If you guys want to watch it, I'll definitely link it in the description. Obviously, we're going to talk about it more, so you can judge if you want to watch it or not. But I'm linking in the show notes and stuff. It's basically about this prison in California. They have a program for rehabilitation for the inmates called Success Stories, where the curriculum is inspired by feminist literature. And basically, it challenges the men in those prisons to confront patriarchy as a means of rehabilitation. And it was really interesting. I was watching it last night, though. The main point of the program for them in the documentary is talking about how patriarchy has led them where they are now, those inmates, and how they possibly, if society has changed, or if things changed in their environment when they were younger and how they were growing up and how they were raised and what they were taught, they might not be where they are. And how it's also partly taking accountability for what has happened to them, or how they were taught and how they acted and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was really interesting. So I was watching that last night, and obviously to prepare for this episode and stuff, and it was really good, and I wanted to talk about some stuff in there. So before we get into that, I just wanted to put that out there that that's what we are going to talk about. But before we get into that, I figured since it's Women's History Month and International Women's Day was a few days ago at this point, we couldn't record on that exact day or anything because I had work and Keith had work and we were just busy. But, I wanted to maybe talk about how women in our lives personally have impacted us, and how we can show appreciation to them.
Mm-hmm.
So start with Dave. How do you think besides the obvious stuff, yes, the obvious stuff, but how have the women in your lives impacted you, and the way you were raised and brought up and what you know about yourself and stuff?
It definitely coming from my mom, my sister, even and my grandmom,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely gave me a pretty good perspective of how we should truly respect them
Mm-hmm.
and how much they actually do for us in general. Because, my mom's like really one of the hardest workers I know. Goes work 9 to 5, comes home, cooks dinner, repeats the process over and over and over again. So I kind of picked up that kind of inspiration of like that kind of work ethic to carry on to me. I know society has like a downbringing on women in general, how they're not as equal to men and anything like that, but that's not nearly necessarily as true. Like I have a new respected perspective for women in society. And
That's
I
good.
appreciate
Like
that.
the people in your life who
Yeah.
helped when you came up. Yeah.
Exactly.
And what about you, Keith? Like the women in your life, how have they impacted you?
I mean, I would say the same thing as Dave. Like, main thing would be my mom. Just seeing as though, so usually, it's the male that drives around, this and that, gets stuff. My mom was a driver in my family, so she was the one constantly driving around and stuff like that. But seeing as she, like, moved out on her own and she has her own apartment, has her own bills, she pays her own bills, she's way more independent now. Looking at it, it just teaches me that the whole norm of, the wife coming home cooking and all that is not really a norm to me. I want it to be equal 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind washing clothes, or I don't mind doing dishes when I get home. I don't mind cooking when I get home. It's just something to make it easier on them as well, because,
Mm-hmm.
just looking at like my mom working, even though she has a headache from her period or cramps, she still goes to work and stuff like that. So still continues to pay off her bills. So just anything that I can like take on of that to make it easier in their life is something that I wouldn't apply when I get older. So.
Yeah. And for me, I would say like basically the same thing as y'all too. Like coming up, obviously my mom has been my main, like I wouldn't say my main by like not trying to alienate my dad or anything, but like my life was a little bit different. My biological father wasn't in the picture for the first part of my life because she made the choice to leave because she knew that it would be better for me. And, the situation we were in was bad because she was trying to hold on to that. So she took accountability for what she had put me in. Like, obviously, I didn't have a choice to come into this world, but she took accountability and she took responsibility and decided that she wants something better for me. So just from the beginning, she was always about, putting me before her and like really showing me that women like are the providers, like not are, but like women can be the sole providers. And like, obviously she met my dad. And when I say dad, I mean technically my stepdad, but I grew up with him, so I call him my dad. And like when she met my dad, like she still had that like, oh, I'm like, you do you, we'll both provide. I'm not going to let you go to work and just do everything for me. Like I'm also doing my own thing because I'm my own person and this is my responsibility too, and just things like that. Like my mom has always been the one to like be there for me, teach me that, being emotional is okay. And like being able to cry is okay. Like even from when I was younger, like my mom has always told me like, my mom has never, which is, well, before I say, my mom has never been the one to be like, oh, you're less of a man for like, like crying or feeling sensitive or like playing with Barbies or whatever. Like she was never like that towards me. Like growing up, and me and my brothers and all of us, she was never like that towards us. Like she was always like, let your emotions out, don't bottle it up. Like, be the person you are. Don't let anybody tell you who you can be and things like that. And like that really showed me like that it doesn't have to be how everyone says it has to be for us. And like without her, I wouldn't be the person I am today 100%. Because of her, I feel like I can express myself, I can feel like I can do the things I want to do. I feel like I can act however I want to act. And like coming up, like she would never tell us, like she would always tell us like if we were like, if for example, like if we liked guys, like if we were gay, she said she wouldn't have no problem with it. She would, she'd be okay with that. She would love us just the same as we are because at the end of the day, we're just people. And like, it's mainly because of her. And then also coming up with my little sister, like, obviously I have a pretty big age gap between me and my oldest sister. I'm 21 and she's 13. So almost a 10-year gap at that point. But, just seeing her grow up and seeing how she was raised and like seeing how I gotta show her how a man should be in some sense, not my responsibility, but I also learned from her that I should be a good person just based off of how I treat women.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, like, obviously I don't have a daughter or anything, so I think, like, how would I want my little sister to be treated? And, like, things like that just help me think, like, okay, this is how I should be treating women just in general. And then obviously there's my girlfriend. You know, I've learned a lot from her too. So it's just all those things combined, like the women in my life have obviously made a big impact, and I want to highlight that. So
Yeah.
I think it goes without saying that for all of us, like the women have taught us to be better men, and not just for women, but to be just better people in general.
Exactly.
And be good people, and show us that, you know, like you said with your mom, like it's not all about, oh, the man got to come home and put dinner on the table. The man got to come home and bring home the bread. Like at the end of the day, your mom's the one coming home putting the money on the table. So
yeah, I want to apply that to, well, the whole point is just to apply that to my relationship now.
Yeah.
You know? I don't expect, like, that's just made me not have any expectations for my girlfriend. Like, I don't expect her to come home and cook when we live together and all that. I don't expect that, because I feel like that's not right. Like, I could do that. You know? Shouldn't be
just the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
One of the big things in the documentary is that they said gender shouldn't have value or roles. Like for this example in particular, like women shouldn't have a role to come home and do the the chores, do the dishes, do the laundry, cook the food, bring you beer, you know, things like that. Like that's not their job just because they're women.
Exactly.
And in the same vein, like what they mainly said in the documentary, I want to find that part. They said about patriarchy. They said a lot of it was about toxic masculinity as well. So I'll get a little bit into that later. But it says, as men, we feel like we must be the provider, or we don't. We are taught that we must be the providers / leaders. And they wanted to highlight that this is not really the measure of a man. You're not measured by how much money you can bring home at the end of the day. You shouldn't be measured by that. And it also said that we are not entitled to leadership just because we are men. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I was raised in a household where the man is the head of house, like the head of the household. Like, the man is in charge. He makes the decisions. And my mom never really succumbed to that, but that's just what I grew up on. And like, that's what I was told. Like, I can't say it really went into much practice, but like, that's just what I was told always. Like, when you're the man, you're the head of the household, you got to watch over. Like, my dad was in the Army, so whenever he would go away for drill and stuff, he would always tell me, because I'm the oldest, he would always be like, all right, now you're the man of the house when I'm gone, and things like that. And obviously that stuck with me. So it says, like, gender should have no value. And, you know, yeah, I'll get into the whole patriarchy thing later, but you know, that's just how I was brought up. Like, men should be the one doing the providing, and women should do everything else, which is not right. Because at the end of the day, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, what I was growing up with, I was kind of grew up like kind of that kind of mindset that me growing up, becoming man, I would have to be a provider, as for say, or I wouldn't be like a manly man. Like, that was what was ingrained into me. But as I grew up and got older, I finally realized that it's fine to have a woman, you know, make more money than me, stuff like that, and provide for me, as long as like we have a general understanding that we're in this together and everything. So that's all. Yeah.
So I wanted to actually ask you about that, because I know we talked about it last episode, not just you particularly, but as a group. Like, you know, we talked about the women, or women in this case, because we're all straight. So like, your partner making more money than you. How do you feel about that?
I mean, taking accountability, I know based on how I was raised, it's something I wouldn't feel that great towards in the beginning, because I've been raised in that mindset where if you're not making the same amount or making more, then you're not as I would say, like,
manly. You're not doing your job.
Exactly. You're not manly. You don't have any masculinity. So like, taking that into account, I definitely would say, like, at first it would be a little uncomfortable. But seeing as though, like, I think I would just come around and be like, I'm just happy you make money. Like, I'm happy we both make a good amount. Like, that's what it would come down to.
Yeah.
Like, but it definitely would.
It's
be
that first initial.
Yeah, it would have to be insecurity. I would definitely have to get over. Based on my,
same for me.
100%. I agree with that. Like, and that goes back to like that societal thing. Like, if you don't provide, you're not doing your, like we said last time, you're not doing your sole job that society tells you have to do, which is unfair, honestly. But like, you know, that insecurity comes with that, because I feel the same way. Like, I know I said last episode, like, I would be a little uncomfortable at first, And like it would be something that I have to get over on my own, because it's not her job to be like, oh, you're still like, it's not her job to coddle me and tell me I'm doing good. Like at the end of the day, I got to be okay with it, because it's my problem, and like, it's just like, at the same time, it's society telling us that we have to, that's our thing. So if we're not doing that, then what the hell are we doing? And that's how it feels.
Yeah,
Exactly.
There is a really big topic I want to get into later, but for now, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the program, or a little bit of statistics that first came up when you first watched the documentary. Basically, the statistics are that men are 2 times as likely as a woman to abuse or become dependent on drugs and alcohol. Men are 4 times as likely as women to commit suicide. 90% of homicides are men, and 98% of mass shootings are men. And lastly, men account for 80% of arrests for violent crimes. And I want to say that not as like because I know when people often bring those statistics up, especially the suicide one, they're often saying like, well, look how bad we have it, over here. And obviously, yes, that is a problem. But I think that problem stems from partly what society creates for itself. So how I was thinking about it earlier, right? If you think about patriarchy, the basic definition is that in a patriarchal society, men are leading the society. Men are in control. Men are in power. There's a little bit more to it, but for the general definition, men lead the society. But if the society is also the one causing the problems, then ultimately aren't we the ones causing the problems? Mostly.
I would say so. Being a show with Gen Z, right?
Yeah.
I would say it's becoming better.
I agree.
It's mainly, like we just said, it's mainly based on the environment you grew up in. So it's just a long line of men having to be the providers, men having to make more money, men having to essentially like being the hard rock, like not expressing how you feel, not saying like, majority of, well, for the suicide thing, I feel like that makes a lot of sense to me, because as a man, you're told to bottle your emotions. You're supposed to be the person everybody leans on. You're not supposed to show when you're upset. You're not supposed to cry. So a lot of men, and that's based off how maybe they're scared of how people react to from them crying, or just how they grew up, of what happened of them crying when they were growing up. So, but I feel as though us being Gen Z, we're becoming way more open to men showing emotion
and aware,
being aware of how they're feeling. Essentially with coming out as like gay or bi or trans. So getting a lot better.
Yeah. And when you brought up that point about like men having to bottle up their emotions, we can all obviously know that we are raised to don't cry, don't be a to be quiet, don't be a pussy, don't be a bitch, don't fucking cry, like don't like I'll give you something to cry about. Man up. Exactly. Man up. Act like a man, be a man, And one of the quotes that they put in there, it says, and this is, again, not a pity party on men. I'll get to why I'm explaining this later. But it says males are forced to wear the mask of a false self. Basically, you have to pretend to be okay with things, and you have to pretend to be happy. You have to pretend whatever. And so they cannot experience joy or true love. If a man is not willing to break the patriarchal rules that say he should never change, basically, you got to always be this way. You got to always be a man. You got to toughen up. You got to, whatever. He will turn away from loved ones and choose his manhood over his personhood, which is basically saying like, am I going to look like a pussy in front of these guys, or am I actually going to show my emotions? Or am I going to like keep it up and keep up the idea that I'm a man? I can handle this.
Like a false mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a false identity of stuff you have to prove to somebody.
Exactly.
A man.
And all that does is like, if you think about it, like think about a relationship, right? With a woman, if you're not showing your emotions, you're not communicating to her, you're not talking to her about how you feel or things that bother you, ultimately what's going to happen? It's just going to keep building up and bothering you and bottling up and blah 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 until it gets to that breaking point, which often does, and then things go bad. But how can it be avoided if you would have just said it in the first place? Exactly.
Off your chest.
And the main thing about the documentary, the main idea behind it was that men have to take accountability for what we contribute into this. Because I know often, and I can say that I do this too, that men will blame women or just everyone else for why we have to act this way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, like, yes, there are women in society who say like, oh man, he's being pussy right now. Like, you know, why are you showing your feelings? Like, why are you acting like this? Like, you know, you can't, like, there are women and just people in general who don't let you act this way. They will uphold that patriarchal view, and it's toxic. It's bad. It's not good. And it keeps the cycle going. So, it's just like, you know, it's tough. It's hard to break that cycle when everyone's telling you this is how you got to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I think times are getting better now.
Exactly. And that's what I'm happy about that, because, you know, like I said, like growing up for me, like when I was younger, my dad would always, like I said, he was in the army. My dad would always tell me, you got to act this way. You got to be a man. You got to stop crying. Like, you know, why are you crying? This, that, and the third thing, whatever. If somebody hits you, hit them back. And like, you know, this, that, and the third. And at the end of the day, like I can realize now that a lot of those teachings, like, you know, were not healthy. Like they just perpetuate that cycle of how you have to be as a man. Yeah. Do you have anything to say about anything I just said, or you want me to keep going? Because I can move on to the next thing.
Sorry, somebody hit me. I'm swinging back. I'm sorry.
That's the thing about that. They were talking about that in the prison, because obviously in prison it's, you know, you're in that environment where it's constant, like, you know, you hit me, I'm gonna kill you.
Exactly.
So they were talking about like why that's not okay, and why society as a whole makes that like not okay. So I'll get into the toxic masculinity thing in a second. Actually, no, I'll get into it now. They said that toxic masculinity has 3 traits that are associated with it, or 3 things that show your masculinity and like why it's toxic. One is physical dominance. If you think about it, how often has a measure of a man been if I can beat your ass or not? If I beat your ass right now, you would think, oh, he's more of a man than me. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you can beat someone up, you're more of a man than them. You won. You're over them. The second one is ability to get girls. Let's think about that in high school too. That was a big thing for a lot of us.
Yeah. You don't get no girls, and
that you wasn't shit.
Yeah,
you were sweet.
And then the last one is money / ability to provide.
That's always been a thing.
Yeah. And what I want to get into about that is that what patriarchal society means is toxic masculinity applies to individuals. So if you subscribe to this idea of toxic masculinity, that's just you. But when an entire culture buys into toxic masculinity, that is a patriarchal society. And not just men. Men, women, children, everybody. That's a patriarchal society.
Really think the man should pay for everything. I know that. And not show emotion.
Exactly.
Girls and
yep.
all that.
Exactly.
And if you can't fight, then you're not a man. If you can't defend her and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like cinema plays a big role in that too. So what would that be called?
Toxic masculinity. That's just part of the society. Society creates those things. So that's just a representation of what is already real.
So you said like us. So basically, us right now at this table, the way we were brought up, that's toxic masculinity because we think about money or getting girls and stuff, especially in high school. But then when it's a societal thing, it's a patriarchy. So cinema is a patriarchy. In a way,
cinema is a representation. If you think, if a movie shows society just how it is, that's just art, representation of life. Art is life. Life imitates art, or art imitates life. Both. So if you think about it, like a movie that shows our normal society is patriarchal society. Think about patriarchal society. Think about why all of the magazines have hot girls on them. Why everything is basically contributing to the male gaze, which basically, you know, sex and things like that. So it's all in turn with that patriarchal society. And it doesn't mean, and I had this quote actually in my other book, but can you grab it? It's right there. Yeah. Underneath that curtain. Yeah, go ahead. Well, say it when you come back. This is a little book underneath there. Yeah. Actually, I'm tweaking. I wrote that down, but whatever. You can say your thing. I'll let you say your thing first.
I was going to say, I didn't know if you could bring it up at some point, but I know definitely a trait of toxic masculinity is sexualizing everything.
Yep. That goes with the getting girls thing. And I have a thing about that. It's rape culture, but we'll get into that later. That's a little bit deeper. I wanted to talk about feminism, and because I think men don't realize that we need to be feminists too. And what that means is like, yes, men have problems. Men have the issues that we need help with, mental health issues, and all that goes into the patriarchy thing. But like at the end of the day, yes, we do have problems that we need help.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it's called, meninism. I don't know what that shit is called. Yeah. But basically, we need to realize like that women need help first.
Mm-hmm.
If we fix women, our problems will get fixed at the same time. Most of them, not all of them, obviously. There's different things that I can't speak on because I don't know. But like, think about Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, if this house is on fire, should I water this house too? Women have been viewed as less than men for pretty much all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the, I don't want to bring religion into this or anything, so I won't do that. But basically, it's all time women has been viewed as less than.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an opinion on that?
I mean,
no, that's factual.
It's facts.
Okay.
Like, all throughout time, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, the fact that if we, and I'm not saying that our problems would be fixed, but this quote will make it a little more clear, so I'll just say it. Not a quote, it's kind of just something an idea I wrote down. Feminism is often viewed as a practice/belief based on contempt towards men. A lot of people think, and I used to think this too, that feminism is, we hate men. Men suck. Men are trash. And there are people who say that and represent that idea, but that's not what feminism in itself is.
Mm-hmm.
Feminism is an idea that comes from a place of inequality and the awareness of such. So feminism was born out of the knowledge that women are unequal in society to men. Same way that Black Lives Matter came out, because Black lives are treated less than white lives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not to fight men specifically, but to challenge those values at their core, which is upheld by everyone. Men, women uphold patriarchy too, and toxic masculinity. I'll cut that out. Women uphold patriarchy and toxic masculinity too. It's not just us. It's not like everything is our fault and we should be attacked. But when feminism tries to challenge those values of being less than, men who uphold those values feel challenged, and so they fight back, thinking that they are being attacked, perpetuating the cycle. And maybe y'all could speak on, I want to ask, like, do y'all think there's any ways, or have y'all ever felt attacked when someone was speaking on some form of feminism, whether they said toxic masculinity, whether they said whatever? Have y'all ever felt like maybe y'all have fought back, or even if y'all haven't said anything or did anything, but like thought about it, have y'all ever tried to fight back or think anything about that idea?
Me personally, no, because I know how it is in society. I know how women has constantly been put down and everything, and then there's like they're kind of like quote unquote movement in order to like finally get recognized and get equality. So whenever they talk about stuff like that or say like men are trash or anything like that, I personally don't get offended about that.
So even like, okay, then more specifically think about like things like the wage gap and just like specific issues. Have you ever been like, that's not a real thing, or that's not a problem?
No, because like I'm out for like equality and stuff like that. Women should be paid equally and everything like that. So I don't have a problem with anything like that.
What about you?
I've been in a couple situations. I would say the first one was I questioned the wage gap thing because I know most places where I worked at, gender wasn't an issue on how much you got paid.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, as of now I work at Amazon, but and our manager I know that gets paid the most. He is a male. Under him is a female, but the only reason why he gets paid more than her is because he's been there 2 years longer.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not sure how you guys know how stuff works at Amazon, so I'm just let you know. So at Amazon, when you're a manager, you get salary. Based on your salary, starts at 70 to 100K or more, but that goes up based on how many years you've been a manager. So it's not based off race. I mean, I'm dead. It's not based off gender.
Yeah.
And I would say like another argument I got into was at work also where I said that it was masculine
Toxic masculinity.
It kind of
Mhm.
was. It was in a sense of I said that I feel as though if a male has to pay for everything, that a female shouldn't complain about them not having ideas for dates and stuff like that, and usually what is the social norm for a man to do.
Mhm.
So I could see how that is when I had an issue, or thought about it like that.
Yeah. Well, then for you, do you feel like you still subscribe to those ideas? Like, do you feel like, I mean, obviously we all do, because we're not going to change in a day, but like
the sense of how I look at it is not really more as though men shouldn't have to do this because if we pay for everything and all that. It's more like I want it to be equal. Like, I want to, as much as I put in, you should put in. It's not, in a sense, because majority of the time it is the man putting in more because we're raised on that term. So, it just kind of sucks.
But it's not their fault.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's more about how we were raised in our society. It's a patriarchy.
Yeah.
Like you said. So it's not more as though you're pointing the fingers at them. It's more like, but I'm just saying I've been in a situation like that. Yeah. Where I did point a finger.
And I'll get into my thing too, but I wanted to ask you specifically because you just reminded me, because you brought up the work thing. I know last time we were all talking about men paying for dates and just things in general, and you brought up about how women are brought up with their fathers like telling them they have to do certain things, and you said that I don't want to word it not right because I don't want to say that this is how you said it, but basically what I remember is like you were like, oh, if I pay for this, then you should have to listen to me. Or you should then I should be able to tell you what to wear or who to hang out with.
Yeah, in the terms of exactly what I said I I feel as though, this is something that happens a lot because if we apply the whole logic to it, as you just explained, the way to basically break it down is men always have to be in power. That's how they've always been in society. A man paying for all your stuff is them having power over a female in their sense. Based on how everybody.
But I feel like not in a relationship, it shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't. It
shouldn't. But I'm saying, why is that shit so loud in my ear? Hold on.
It shouldn't. But
it shouldn't count. If
I
I pay for Mel and everything, I shouldn't be like I control you. I have power over you. I'm with you.
Yeah,
we're together in this.
Yeah, I'm just saying based on not
how
what
society
I've
views
experienced,
it,
but how men take it as.
Yeah.
As some people, in terms of if they're paying for everything, they'll be like, I want you to act a certain way. I want you. And I was just saying, as effective, I'm not like that, so I wouldn't expect them to act a certain way if I'm paying for stuff. Which is why I feel as though, it's not about men, but I'm just saying, that's why I felt as though on the last podcast I said men shouldn't pay for everything because it's a lot of men out there that don't expect anything. They don't want to control you and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like a toxic thing for men to pay for everything. It's not fair.
It's that idea that, oh, if I do pay for everything, then you should, and that so you're saying it's wrong.
Yeah, it's not right.
Yeah. So as far as me, I can't say anything specific off the top of my head to be truly honest, but I know in the past I've seen the posts and TikToks and stuff where I've been like, oh, that makes sense. People it just, I don't know, I can't think of anything, but it'll be a post oh, women don't like the wage gap, but then okay, I know exactly what I'm trying to say. Think about OnlyFans, and this would be a transition into the whole rape culture thing. If you think about OnlyFans, a lot of guys' arguments about the wage gap is that women can make more money than them on OnlyFans. And that's wrong. I mean, it's true. It's obvious it's true. But I'm saying it's wrong in the sense that shouldn't be your argument. Yes, women can make more money than you on OnlyFans, but you want to know why? It's because most of the audience on OnlyFans is you. You.
Man.
So it's not the women's fault that they can make more money on OnlyFans. Same way it's not their fault that they don't get paid. And they just because they can go to OnlyFans doesn't mean that they shouldn't get paid more in the office. Because those two have no correlation. And what has always baffled me about those type of comments, oh, I don't want my daughter to be like this, and things like that. It's you watch that, you consume this, you want this. Whenever a girl posts a TikTok on her shaking her ass and shit, right? half the comments will always be, wow, looking for attention, I'm sure your dad is proud, this, that, and a third thing. But at the same time, if she didn't post that, you would look for it elsewhere. Men want that, but then they shame it. I've never understood that, because I can acknowledge I consume things like that, but I'm at the same time, I'm not going to tell like a woman, oh well, you shouldn't have posted this. Like it's obviously it's for whatever reason, but at the same time, you shouldn't shame women for the things that they do and be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, I mean, I would say the main thing I do take in that I not shame, but I wouldn't really agree with is like pornography. Like as males growing up, going through puberty, all that stuff that we looked at porn and stuff like that. I mean, we're all adults here, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I feel as though, me personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable with being with a porn star or dating a porn star.
Of course, but go ahead. I'll let you finish. No, I'll let you finish.
No, that was it.
Does it?
I was just gonna say or even having sex with a porn star. But it's like.
Okay, so then what I was gonna say about that, then that is okay. That's preference, but then to go the next step and shame them for that is wrong. Everybody has their own lifestyle, and to be like, okay, I don't want to date you, that's understandable. A lot of people are, want the monogamous, like only be with me type of relationship. That's what we consider in society normal. So to not want that, totally fine. I agree with that too. I probably wouldn't want to date a porn star, but I also wouldn't go the extra step to be like, nah, you're a slut, slut shaming, this, that, and the third thing. Like that's where the line gets crossed. That's where that line gets crossed.
Even OnlyFans is a stretch, but I wouldn't even. It's just something that's my preference of what I want to do, but I wouldn't shame it. I would just be like, you could do you and all that.
Yeah.
But some people would turn that into you not agreeing with it into like a shaming type.
So then it's that problem. So about the OnlyFans thing, real quick. Then, do you feel like it's a problem? Okay, no. Do you feel like yes, because we all have it. All right, just acknowledge that there is a wage gap.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't exist in our own lives. I can't say any specific example where I have seen a wage gap, but it obviously exists because we just know that in society, women are viewed less than men, so they often get paid less for the higher paying jobs.
Yeah.
A woman is not going to get paid less probably at McDonald's than another guy because they're working the lowest paying job there is, so nobody cares. But in an office where you're making a salary, and the boss is an old ass white guy, he has those traditional values that women, they're not as good at their job, so why would I pay her more? And even if it's not directly, it's subconscious.
Yeah.
But do you think it's fair then that women make more money on OnlyFans generally, or women can make a whole ass living on OnlyFans?
No.
You don't think it's fair? Why?
Wait.
I do
question?
I do think it's fair.
Yeah.
Well, then what did you think I said? Or what do you think?
No. I was processing it wrong. Yeah, it's fair.
Okay, then why did you say no? Because I just want to know, what do you think I meant? Because I'm going to ask that question instead.
Not that you meant, is it not fair that women?
Okay. Yeah. So
I was gonna say that the only thing I got from women making money on OnlyFans is just looking at how it's easier for women to make money in those platforms because men are find everything sexual. Like if you look at a female having OnlyFans versus a guy having OnlyFans, or a female stripper versus a male stripper, like the audience is not the same. Like it's more men looking for a female stripper and OnlyFans girl than a female looking for a male stripper or a male OnlyFans guy.
Exactly.
So,
but that's at the same time, that's not their fault, not
their
problem.
Yeah, it's not their fault.
It's our fault.
Yeah, because we're buying into it.
We're the ones consuming that mostly.
Listen, I'm a firm believer in chase the bag.
Yeah.
Like if you got a way like that it's gonna make you a lot of money that you feel comfortable with doing, and it's not illegal or anything like that, then I'm cool with it personally.
So, what am I trying to say? Basically, like I know in the past we've talked about like the whole OnlyFans thing and things like that. So like off camera, obviously. And how do y'all feel about, and not just OnlyFans, but like the whole sex industry in general? Like, do you feel some type of way, and you said it's easier, do you feel some type of way that women can go do this option at any point and not face, well, they, in our minds, not face any challenge or barriers, that they can just do it whenever they want?
No.
Like, okay, think about like for us, like if we wanted to go on OnlyFans or okay, no.
Are you
If
talking
we-
about like societal backlash?
Yeah, like no, like
No, do we feel
like
bad?
like if we wanted a job, right? We have to go apply, look for a job, this, that, and the third. But if a woman wants to start OnlyFans, she can start that shit right now
Yeah.
and start making money the next week. Do
Yeah.
you see a problem with that?
No.
No, I don't.
Okay, me neither. Because what I was basically trying to say is like it's like it's the objectification that we use or we subscribe to, and I want to get into the whole rape culture thing in a minute, but it's that whole problem that we again cause. Not a problem. It's just like it's this whole thing that we basically are the founder of as men, and things like that. So, I do want to get into the rape culture thing because they talked a lot about it, and I wanted to say some stuff from it. So, growing up, we learned that pulling girls or getting girls is a way to prove your manhood, right? We said this before. But why do we judge? I'm gonna ask y'all this question: why do we judge women for the opposite?
Oh,
We get praised for it, but then women get
myself.
okay.
I feel as though I don't believe in double standards in most cases. So like, well, I don't like to believe in double standards. So a male getting a bunch of girls, I would consider a hoe. I would also apply to a female.
Okay.
So that's just how I feel about
In
it.
the past, you have said though that you don't want a woman with a high body count.
Yeah, I would say that based taking like ownership into that, it's based off what I went through. I thought that if you had a higher body count, I feel like for me though, it's more about not having a high body count. It's about them being more like having more experience than me. It wasn't the fact that they've been with a lot of people. It was the fact that, oh, she's more advanced than me. I don't know what I'm doing type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not leading. I'm not a man. It's more like that. It's more like, it's not, oh, she's a hoe. She's been with everybody. It's more like she knows more stuff than me.
So you would feel insecure
Yeah.
as a man
Yeah.
because your woman now is
More like knows.
Experience.
Yeah, more experience.
more.
It's more of that.
Yeah. So
it's
she
not-
she would end up leading you.
Yeah, it's more of that. It's more like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, so I guess I'm gonna follow her lead, even though I'm used to leading.
And do you feel like that's a problem?
As of now, no. When I was in high school, yes.
I'm saying for you, do you feel like that's not a thing that you should feel?
Now,
Yeah.
no.
Why?
I feel as though like, in terms of like a woman leading
Mm-hmm.
or
No.
being more experienced.
Being insecure because your woman has more experience than you.
No,
Okay. Do you feel like then she should be insecure if you have more experience than her?
no,
But you feel like you should.
no.
You just said you do.
I said I do. I should feel insecure.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't.
You said he said it's not a problem when he does it.
Oh, I said no. I don't want to be insecure. Like I shouldn't feel insecure. In high school, yes, but now, no. Like
Yeah,
if she has
exactly.
more experience than me, I'm not insecure about it.
Oh, okay. So let me
Yeah.
rephrase then, just to be clear. If you date a girl,
Mm-hmm.
let's say you're not in the current situation you're in right now, you're not with anybody. You date a girl and you find out she has more experience than you.
Mm-hmm.
Would bother you? Is what you said
Now.
before. Yeah.
No, it would make me a little nervous because like she does have more experience than me.
So,
but it's
okay,
not insecurity anymore.
Let's go deeper then. Would you still date her? She's okay.
Yes,
You would still date her. She says that she
Yes.
has a body count of 15.
yes,
Okay. But before you just said that it would make you feel insecure.
in high school, yes.
You said now before.
No, well, not now.
So now, no.
No, all right, to explain it, I don't feel in high school. I felt insecure because I wasn't leading. Now it doesn't bother me if a girl has more experience than me. There
Okay.
you go.
Okay. What about you?
I think I heard like.
Go ahead.
Oh, good.
No, go ahead.
I heard that. I thought you said like you're not insecure now. So I said,
No.
no. I'm
Okay.
not
So basically, you're not
I don't
insecure
feel-
now.
I thought you said, do you feel that way now? No.
Okay. What about you? Would you feel insecure if the girl you were dating, you found out she had way more experience than you? And I'm just going to the extreme, like
Yeah.
way more.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't feel insecure or have a problem with it.
Heck no. I would actually. I would enjoy it.
Okay.
Because I feel like it would teach me.
Teach you.
Yeah, it would teach me, give me more experience on how I can improve, my relationships and stuff like that. Take stuff to another level.
Yeah.
Find ways to please her, stuff like that.
It's like more of a game of can I catch up?
Yeah, so I would never feel belittled if my girl had way more experience than me.
Okay.
But
A lot of men do feel that way though.
But
Yeah.
to put my preference out there, it's more of a preference to me about like I compare to how many like so you said 15, right?
Yeah.
If it was like 25, 30, I wouldn't be with them because I'm not there. Like I haven't been with that many people.
But why? It's the same thing. No matter how many number, it's still the same.
Well, I think for me it falls under like are they casually? Was it protected sex? Was unprotected? Was it? Is she getting tested every 7 months to make sure she's? It's about are you careful
Okay,
behind that?
doesn't matter all that. I'm saying she's not having sex every week or whatever. Nobody cares about that. I'm saying okay, not nobody cares. Not like not saying like oh shut up.
Go get a checkup.
But I'm saying like
So why isn't that
like-
classified as a preference though?
huh?
Like you just said so earlier, you said that me not being with a certain type of girl is a preference. That's fine, but then bashing them would be
No, I didn't say that was. I said
No,
that
you did. You
for the
said
porn. That's a
for
different
the
thing
porn.
though. That's understandable because if you were dating a porn star, she would be having sex with other men during your relationship. That's where I think that's fine because if you're not okay with that, you're not okay with that. I think that's different.
Okay, what about retired porn stars?
Okay, then she's just a normal person. At that point, she's just a normal person. At that point, if she's not still working, then I wouldn't have a problem with it personally.
Yeah, me either.
Because at the end of the day, it's just a job. It's the same as any other job. It should be viewed. Sex work should be viewed as any other job because at the end of the day, they're doing it to make money. It's the entertainment business, so it's obviously an alternative type of entertainment. But it's still in the same vein. They're doing it for a check.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, no, I would not. If I dated a girl and she was a retired porn star, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I don't think.
Something I wouldn't have a problem dating a girl who had an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
What about you?
No.
What about you, Keith?
Me dating a girl with OnlyFans?
Yeah.
If I'm in that joint, yeah. Fine, bet.
So let's say if you found a girl, you were dating her, like you just started dating, and you found out she had OnlyFans, like she already had one. Then what would you do? You'd be like, oh, what do you do for work? She's like, OnlyFans.
I guess I'm in that joint.
What if she says, no, it's just me. It's my job, my solo thing.
I respect that.
Would you still date her?
Probably that's not. Yeah, I would say probably not because that's not my preference.
Like what?
Dating a girl with OnlyFans.
People dating people in the industry or anything into dumb men paying money to see them naked and all that whole thing. That's not. I don't. That's not my preference.
You don't feel comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I don't have a problem.
That's
with it.
understandable,
Like
I think.
they could do that. That's fine. I'm not like saying bashing them, saying like
Mhm.
you shouldn't do that. No, but me personally, I couldn't date someone. Like I said, I couldn't date someone that was a porn star or OnlyFans or cam girl, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So real quick, because we're pretty much past the hour mark now. I want to kind of switch over to the next thing about the rape culture.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to ask before I explain. How do y'all think? Well, actually, do you know what objectification is, right?
Mhm.
Objectifying a woman and viewing her not as a
Mhm.
person but an object.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How do you think that mindset contributes to rape culture?
Just seeing a woman as an object,
Yeah, but like,
like a sexual.
okay,
like
so
please, like a. What? Okay.
no, go ahead. Explain.
go ahead.
Explain.
I thought you explain more. Go
No,
ahead.
I wasn't.
Oh.
I was gonna let you finish before I moved
Well,
on.
You just I mean, it makes sense how you say it. Like looking at a female as just. I'm not trying to say it as harsh as people say it, but people do say it's harsh, like because it's males like that.
Yeah.
That just view women as a good time,
Mm-hmm.
this and that, and
Mhm.
that goes into rape culture. Rape culture because you don't look at them as a person. You look at them as a way for you to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
And one of the things he said in the documentary is that we have to realize that, and again, not all rapists are men. That's
Yeah.
obvious. So just get that out there before any of the incels hear this.
There's
Not all
more
rapists are
towards
men.
women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um.
Majority are men. that
Yes.
rape.
Exactly. And what I was gonna say was that we have to realize that rapists aren't just these monsters that are separated from us.
Mhm.
Rapists are normal people, and I'm not saying they're normal people, they're just like us, but like they are among us, and
Mhm.
we have to realize that we contribute to that culture. Obviously we're not rapists,
Mhm.
but at the same time, one of his things was that, so okay, would you ever say that you've objectified a woman? I can say yes, 100% I have, and I still do.
I mean, be sad, to put it blankly, I guess a lot of guys be like, oh, when they walk in, they see a girl with like a fat butt.
Yep.
They'll turn around and look, ooh, damn, like I wish I can like, be with her just for a night, something like that. But obviously that's bad, but that's just how majority of men are. Not speaking on like you.
That's facts. Yeah.
But it's not how we are. It's how
not.
We're taught that it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. And so you say yes, you have.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I want to explain why that mindset, exactly how you said, like when you look at a girl, like, oh, she has a fat ass, like whatever, we've all done it. How it contributes to that culture, how it makes it okay to view women as objects. It makes it okay to view women as objects because at the same vein, if you look at a woman as object, that's the same mindset a rapist has. And I'm not saying, oh, we're deep down rapists. I'm saying that it contributes to that societal view that women are objects. And if I can look at, basically, the quote, I can look at a woman in a sexual way and she can't do anything about it.
Damn.
Like, you can look at a woman, a girl passes by right now, we could all look at her, but she can't do shit about us looking. And half the time, a lot of men are more bold than us.
Exactly.
They will say shit, they will do shit, they'll grab her, whatever. And that contributes to that culture. And we have to, do you recognize that as men, all of us, not just you two and not me, but like all of us, that we contribute to that culture?
Yeah. I just feel like that falls under more of like, I mean, I know this about females too. I mean, I know females also do that as well. Like, look at
what would you mean?
That's sexy. Like, let me get a room with him.
That's obvious.
I just feel. I mean, I feel as though that comes down to more of like you said, like what we all just talked about, growing up in that mindset, men dominating, we get what we want. That mentality applied to then sexualizing women. Because I feel like sexualizing women isn't really the same as viewing them as an object.
It is.
It would be.
Yeah.
So.
We view women as sexual objects, things for pleasure, not people. Obviously people, but like we view them as things for pleasure. When you look at a woman in a magazine with a bikini on, you're not being like, oh, like I'm sure she has a really nice personality as a person. You're thinking, damn, she has nice boobs. And that's all you see. And obviously it's put out there for you to see that way, but that's because that's what society subscribes to. So if they want to get ahead, they got to play the game.
I feel like, it definitely kind of like contributes to it, but that would be the deciding factor of them being like, okay, well, I see this person as like, you like girl, like say if a girl walked by, she's really pretty and she's cute. What if I had a night with her or something like that? But then you take that step next for somebody to go and rape them. So I feel like that's more of like, maybe, but definitely that whole idea of it is definitely like contribution, but then that final act is them.
Yes.
And like all they went through and whatever toxic masculinity they have. And
of course. Yeah. But my point is that we can't separate one from the other. We can't say, oh, we look at women, but we're not rapists. Like, we're not like them. Like, obviously we're not. But it's not just rapists, it's rape culture and everything that contributes to that culture, where I can definitely say, for me, I have contributed to that all my life. Especially growing up as a young boy. Like, think about like if you got a girlfriend when you was a young boy, right? Your dad would probably be like, oh, like, what's up, you really good shit, like, you getting girls out here, whatever. But then think about if you had a sister. You don't have you do have a sister, but not one that lives in your household. How your dad would react if your girl said, oh, if your sister said that she got a boyfriend when she was like 13.
Not pleasantly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same way my dad too. And it's like that idea that men are praised for like viewing women as like objects, like trophies at the end of the day. Like it goes back to the whole ability to get girls thing. Like we're praised for how many girls we can get or how many girls we can talk to, whatever, this, that, and the third thing. Because they're viewed as trophies, as achievements, and not as women or just as people. And it goes back to the gender having value thing. Like, women shouldn't be trophies and we should be like the achievement hunters. Women are just people.
Exactly. And
that's where the problem comes from. And as far as like going the extra mile to say something to the girl, the guy who pretty much led the documentary and leads the program, his name is Richie Reseda. He has an Instagram. That's his Instagram. I'll link it below. But he was talking to his wife on the phone, and he was talking about like how, thank you for really, your personal experiences have really helped me form this program. He formed the program, and his wife like helped him because obviously he's a man, so he can't speak personally. But the things she told him helped him form the program, and she was talking about like street harassment stuff, right? And he was saying how a lot of time women or men will be like, oh, it's a compliment. Take it as a compliment. And I can say that I've thought that too. Like, oh, if somebody says something nice to me on the street, I would be happy about it. Like, oh, they said I look fine, whatever. But what she said, and I want to kind of get into this a little bit, a compliment without consent is harassment. How do you view consent? Because I want to explain it. Like, a compliment without consent is harassment. And think about it in the reverse. If you saw somebody on the street with fucked up face, would you be like, damn, your face is fucked up? No, because they didn't want you to say that. That wasn't welcome for you to say out loud. And obviously, yes, we think, oh, well, we're saying something nice to them, but somebody you don't even know, they don't want you to talk to them. They don't need you to say anything to them. They were having a perfectly fine day without you. So why do men feel the need to be the saviors and be like, oh, we're complimenting them. We're saying she got a fat ass, like whatever. First of all, that's not a compliment. It goes back to the objectifying thing. But go ahead. It seems like you had something to say about that.
I was kind of thinking, a compliment without, what'd you say?
A compliment without consent is harassment.
Harassment.
It's hard to grasp, and I still don't fully grasp it because we've never been down the street walking and get anything said to us by anyone.
Let me put this way. I can understand how women would think that, how getting compliments and not like, well, what I would say is to a degree, this is me personally, if you're complimenting, oh, hi, I like your hair, or like, you have nice eyes, something like that.
That's different.
Yeah,
I can see
if
that.
you're going up to them like, yo, you got a fat ass or something like that, like that, if it's making them uncomfortable, I would say that. Then
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
You're asking us to like explain what we think the term means.
Yeah. So
I mean,
I can just say it honestly.
I was about to say it sounds like just two words. For a female to invite
there's a thin line. Go ahead.
So for a female to invite, basically you compliment them.
Yeah.
Rather than you just saying out of nowhere.
Like, it's okay. Because I was thinking, I was like, so you have to ask a girl, hey, can I say something to you? Like a compliment? And Mel was trying to explain to me, consent doesn't necessarily mean like a yes or no, a verbal like, oh, yes, you can do this or no. But if it's uninvited or unwelcome, if they didn't ask you, or if you could just see on their face that they don't want you to talk to them, that is a no. Don't say anything to me. And a lot of men, I can't say I personally, I've never catcalled a woman in my life, but a lot of men don't care or don't see it that way. They think, oh, I'm just going to tell her she has a fat ass. It's a compliment. She has a fat ass, whatever, or whatever. So, and to a degree, like your thing, like, okay, if a woman's walking down the street and she doesn't seem like she doesn't want me to talk to her, like she's not like trying to hurry up, walk past me, or has her headphones in, whatever. I keep backing up from the mic. I'm sorry. If she has her headphones in, whatever, and I can see, okay, I think she has nice shoes, whatever. I don't think that is going to not go over well if you say, hey, I like your shoes, keep it pushing. From that point on, don't say anything else. It's when you say the fat ass.
Yeah, you start sexualizing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where that's not a compliment. Same way, would you want your girl to be walking down the street, or your daughter or your sister to be walking down the street, and a guy to be like, oh, you got a fat ass? And think, oh, he was complimenting you. No. Nah. So that's where that problem lies.
What do you think?
You seem like you thinking, so I just thought you were thinking about something.
Yeah,
You've been like he was stewing over there trying to say something or think something.
No, yeah, I was just seeing how I got it right. It's just invitation to compliment them. Or like even if it goes under Dave calling a girl like saying you have nice eyes and nice hair, pushing that would be if you said that and you see that they're uninterested and you keep trying to, oh well, like your eyes are nice, but your hair is nice. I like how your clothes are.
And then you
see that they're not interested, and
you still try to push the envelope. Like a lot of guys will say it's a compliment, but really they want a response. They want you to talk to them, or they want women to be like, oh, thank you, like, you know. And then the girl will be like, oh, can I get your number? Like, no, that's not a compliment. Then that's just trying to get a girl's number. So, and then a lot of the time, what happens when a girl doesn't respond to that compliment? Oh, man, you ugly anyway. I didn't want you anyway. Rejection. This, that, and the third thing. So it's like, it's a problem that I can say I've definitely contributed to, not to that degree, but like that objectification. And it's, we got to realize that. That's all. Like, we just got to realize that even though we're not rapists, objectifying women and looking at them in that way is like a problem. Like, and it's again with the same thing. Think about how you would treat a girl on the street, but then would you want your daughter to be treated that way?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of men. Oh, I don't want my daughter to be this, that, but then I'm okay with it when it's other people or when I want it. You know, that's a problem. I think.
The best way I could put that into perspective is the best way to put that in perspective for me would be that that's something I can't control.
What?
Like I wouldn't want my daughter to be called that, but I know in her life it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Happens to, like, just like sadly, if you talk to a bunch of females at college campuses, they have a story about how a male almost touched them, almost raped them constantly. It's a constant thing at a bunch of colleges.
And that's the thing. So one of the things his wife said is that women. Men. Wait. I gotta find my thing. I wrote it down somewhere that. Men, like as men, we often know and recognize the problems with masculinity, you know, things like that. Like we know, oh, men do this, whatever. And we think, okay, we know it, so we don't do it. And that's okay. That's enough. But really, confronting yourself and other men is what makes a difference. Women don't need allies, like people that would be like, oh, go, you know, you got this. Women need comrades. They need active assistance. They need people who will say stuff. For example, I don't know if y'all seen that TikTok, but it was about this girl playing a game and with her friend, and she was on COD, and her friend was a guy, and they were in the lobby, and once the guys in the lobby found out she was a girl, they started talking mad shit. Like, I don't know exactly what they said, but like they were just talking mad shit about her being a girl, this, that, and the third. And then when she got back in the lobby, but her friend didn't defend her at all. He didn't say shit, and he was like, well, what do you want me to do? They're just guys, you know, they were just joking. And like, that's the thing. He knew it was wrong, but he didn't do anything about it. And he didn't use his stance as a man. Think about like Black Lives Matter. We need the help of people who are white and things like that. We need them to stand with us and we don't need them to just be like, oh, I'm with you. We need them to be out there with us, donating, protesting, things like that. And people are doing that. And that's what really makes the difference. So if we just be like, oh, we know, like, oh, like think about if you were ever with a girl, or like if you were just ever hanging out with a girl or in a game with a girl, whatever, and some guy said something and you were like, oh, that's just guys. Like, you know, I can say that it's probably happened to me in my lifetime where I haven't defended or actually said anything against it. And that's where it's wrong. That's how we're part of the problem at that point. We're just as bad.
Well, for me, I know that I didn't step in when a girl got catcalled because I didn't really jump and all that. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
There was like 6 bulls. But yeah, that's it.
That's understandable. That's different. Yeah. But like,
I was not trying to get jumped. It was 6. If it was one boy, I'd be like, yo, we're like I know I'm definitely the type to where if like somebody tried to rape a girl, I would punch. I would definitely sock boy. But like I know that like if I see somebody definitely like something they can't get out of, I'll definitely intervene. Like, and you see that a bunch of places at gyms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff. So
that's the thing. Okay. In that instance, yes, it's survival over defense. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm going to say something, but I might die if I do. So I think I'm going to let this one slide because
unless I see that like they're going to try to rape her, then I can call 911.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My volume is so loud. Jesus Christ. There we go. That's better. But yeah. I don't know. I think I was just watching it and I was thinking about what I got to do personally.
Yeah.
You know, do you feel like y'all could do more just in your own lives?
I mean,
as far as like objectification and, you know, being an ally towards women and feminists and things like that.
I mean, I'm always going to be with women and fighting for their rights and everything. So that's not a question.
I feel like, I mean, I definitely have that mindset where I want them to make same amount or more, have no issues with them having alternative routes because of the society we're in. I feel like for me, it just comes down to preference of what I prefer, what I don't, but I'm not going to judge them.
Prefer, what do you mean?
Like, it just falls down to what type of women we like to date and stuff like that.
But I don't mean just that. I mean in society,
general. Yeah. Yeah, no. Like I said, like
things that are in your control.
Oh, yeah. I don't have any, like, problems with females who have to take that route because it's not it's not their fault that they have to take that route. It's more like us because we support it, and on top of that, they don't get money for the same some areas. So, well, most areas. But I would just say like I would just try to be applying it better would probably try to be this like step in more or not let stuff slide or not think, oh, it's just guy talk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That would be the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, hopefully it's not like life endangering for me, so I won't have to die for like a certain situation.
Yeah, of course not. Like that's not the goal. But I see what you're saying. What's it called? I was gonna say, I think that's the main thing that we all do is we excuse it. Like if we're in a group of friends, like not just us three, but like let's say we're in a group of 5 guys, right, or 6, whatever, and like they always talking about like, oh, women, this, that, you know, I fucked the shit out of her, this, that, and the third. Like not to get graphic, but that's what it gets to at some points. I can 100% say, and most of it is from high school. I only hang out with y'all at this point, but like in high school, I can 100% say I was in that conversation. I was letting that shit go, and I was part of that shit. I was saying the same things. Obviously, I didn't know any better at the time, but like we excused that type of things, and a lot of guys go their whole life excusing that shit. Like, but they don't learn from when they. Wow, it got really dark. Hold on. There we go. It was a UPS truck and shit. But
that shit.
we let that shit slide, and that's where the problem is letting that shit slide. It's not. It's just being an ally. Like, oh, I know it's wrong, but I'm not gonna do anything about it. I think I can definitely say that I let that shit go a lot, and I'm trying to be better at it now.
Yeah.
And like, you know, not being part of the problem at the same time. So I think that's pretty much all I have. Again, if y'all wanted to watch this documentary, it's called The Feminists on Cell Block Y. It's on YouTube. It's like an hour, 15 minutes. It's really good. I'll link it in the show notes. I'll also link the guy Richie Reseda on the show notes. I followed him on Instagram. He's like an activist now. It started off with the whole feminist thing, but I see he does a little bit more of that, more different stuff now too. He's no longer incarcerated, so he's, you know, being an active person in society, trying to make a difference. Do you guys have anything else to say, like as far as personal experience or any ideas or things you wanted to get out there, things you may think about anything that we talked about?
No, not really. I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. Respect women.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things that stuck with me is like the not viewing women as not people. Like, it's a mindset that's instilled in all of us just growing up, like viewing women as prizes or objects or things, you know, not even just sexually, but like just not real people. And it's hard to really see it, but I think I kind of got a grip on it yesterday, just a little bit, like viewing women as not, okay, it's just a woman. She's emotional because she's a woman. She's this because she's a woman, you know? And yeah, it's a lot, you know, it's a problem.
I feel like
I want to confront it.
I feel like the main thing for me was like realizing the what's the term called for toxic masculinity in society? Patriarchy in a lot of our lives, and like actually saying, like, instead of blaming society, you know, is like taking ownership and like, yeah, this made me this way, and then trying to find an outcome to change it so that you don't have a cycle of patriarchy. So that'd be the main thing. I feel like that'd be a first step to break away from everything, because that's the first thing into men looking at women as objects and rape culture and all that. So that would be like the first thing I would think. Like knowing, like, oh, looking into like how you grew up, how society was when you grew up, the patriarchy that shaped you, and then changing that outcome so that you can break through that cycle.
And I think the biggest thing is like, what were you about to say something?
No.
Like, I think the biggest thing, one of the hardest things for a lot of guys is like when they realize this is wrong, then they realize, oh shit, I've been doing this, or my friend's been doing this, or my dad's been doing this, whatever. Yeah. And that's why a lot of guys don't want to accept it. Like, I can 100% say that I've grew up around plenty of men, not just my dad and things like that. Like, you know, just like all the men in my life basically have been like this. Yeah. And it's like, it's just been normal. And I can, now that I'm confronting it, I realize, oh shit, this is not good. And I kind of obviously I didn't let it happen. I was a kid, but like, you know, it was just a thing that went on and I didn't realize anything about it because that's just all I knew.
What they do is out your control, but what you do is in your control.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Because I know we talked about that last time, like how you were saying like, oh, we got to be okay. We got to not have problems. We got to bottle up. But that's the thing. Main thing in this, one of the main things was like, we have the choice to do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
We are our own people. We don't have to be what society tells us to be. We don't have to view women this way. We don't have to bottle up our emotions and be a certain type of way in relationships or treat, whatever. We don't have to be whatever we don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like for you in specific, like I remember you saying like, in your, like you just feel like not just in your relationship, but in general, you feel like you grew up where you feel like you had to keep things in.
Yeah.
And like
that's just
I
how
definitely
my dad
been growing up
was,
that way
yeah.
too. Yeah. So it's like, we don't have to be that way. And that's what it was trying to teach those guys is that because in prison, they were like, this is all I know. And like, this is how I was raised and this is what I came up with. And their main thing was like, okay, that's what you came up with, but it's your choice now to change it with the knowledge that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I don't know. It's just really, it's hard, obviously, to confront the truth. But, I felt like,
I feel like it's not that hard to confront the truth. It's more hard doing the change.
Being active
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I wanted to talk about this because I wanted to open up the conversation. Mel said that we should get the guy on the podcast at some point, and I said he has 17K followers. He's not going to come on the podcast, but shit. Maybe in like 100 episodes when we have like 10,000 listeners, then he'll come on the
maybe we'll post
podcast.
this on the gram and tag him.
Well, I mean, shit, yeah, we'll try.
Yeah.
It'll be definitely cool. I don't know. That would be
You
interesting.
send him a link to the email to the podcast.
Yeah.
And say, hey, we watched your documentary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely trying to watch that tonight.
Yeah, I posted. Like I said, I'm putting the show notes. I'll send it to y'all too. But
Okay.
yeah, I just like I said, I wanted to open up this conversation, especially after last episode and it being Women's History Month and International Women's Day. I felt like it was only right that we obviously don't have a position to talk about women's problems, but we have a position to talk about how we contribute to those problems.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, basically we just got to change, Do you have anything you want to say to anybody?
No, not really. I just want to just say thank you to my mom and everybody, and like all the women figures in my life, because they really did help me get through a lot of stuff and show me a better way to perceive the world and stuff. So
yeah, 100%. I praise my mom for becoming the man I am today, because if I went down the path that was basically laid out for me, like just not just by men, but just like everything I grew up with, I would not be the same person I am right now. So I want to thank her for showing me that I didn't have to be that way. My mom and my sister, my girlfriend, and everybody, all the women my grandma, all of them. So, and I also want to say that anybody who has felt wronged by me specifically in the past, I apologize. By the things I didn't know. So, whatever the form that comes in, I'm sorry. I hope this is, oh yeah, we're still recording, good. Anything you want to say before we close?
No.
Final thanks or anything? No? All right. Well, I know this one was a little bit longer. I hope it wasn't, not to say boring, but I know we were not very cheerful during this one. That's because we were talking about a lot of hard things to come to terms with, and just society. So I apologize if this isn't the happy, laughing episode like last one was, or things like that. But it's not going to be like this, like I said, every time. I just wanted to bring this up for this specific reason. So I appreciate y'all listening, and if y'all still listening, comment below anything you think, or maybe things we didn't touch on, or things you have to say about it, or whatever, anything. I don't care. Just comment, we'll read it all. So appreciate y'all listening, tuning in to episode 3 of the Open Mic Podcast. Dave's going to be in Cali. Yep. So hopefully we'll have some stories to talk about when he comes back.
Yeah.
I'm coming back.
I'm dead.
We'll have to do it over Zoom or some shit then. But yeah, I'm excited. Appreciate y'all for listening to this episode. Catch you on the next one. Julian.
Marquise.
Dave.
And yeah, peace.
All right.